you know, when you call it emergency water, in India, to us, it's more point of use water. The reason being that no more than about 25% of India's population is actually connected to pipelines, to taps. The rest of us, 75%, 700 million people of the 1200 plus, are people who simply don't have water that come off running water from taps. Raj knows this. So to us, it's not about emergency water relief. It's more about point of use water. And it's not so just in India. I mean, you could go to Africa and you have the same challenge. In a city like Kampala, I find that 80% don't get running water. 80%, 80%. It shocked me the first time I was there and I was studying these things as part of some program that we were doing for that city. And then I thought maybe Kampala is an exception. The next I land in Addis Ababa, which is at about 7,500 feet above sea level. Uganda is at about 3,800 feet or so, about the same height as, say, Bangalore is from where I come. And I find that, again, we have about 70-75% of people who don't get water from taps. And so point of use water is a big, big challenge that needs to be addressed everywhere. The other thing is, I believe, therefore, that the market for point of use, the water treatment systems, is far greater, not simply for the social reason of having to provide them water, clean access and all that, but for the fact that even in cities, every single home in the middle, lower middle and upper middle classes in India, in every city, and we have 7,900 towns and agglomerations and cities. In every city, we have every home having this blessed RO treatment system. Yeah, Raj is nodding away. I know what it means to him and to all of us, right? And we just don't know how to. You ask Usha, she will have the same system. Ask Murli. Murli, decided that he will not use an RO and he went for something else. But these are aberrant exceptions, I will say. The other point I want to make, especially to John, who has visited some 27 times and he's looking forward to his 28th visit to India, is that when we go to our villages, forget about water, and treatment. There are many. We have about 280 districts in India of the 670 or 660 districts, which have no water access. From the settlement, they have to walk 6, maybe 7, 8 kilometers. And, there are places that I have been to worked in, maybe 20 years ago on the field in Nagaland, and then here in Bamar district, which is west of Rajasthan. And you know what the women used to tell me? Go away. Don't give us any water here. This is 2 hours that we get with ourselves. Women, children, they walk away from home. They don't have their men, hassling them. And this is an outing for them. While they have to, of course, lug back maybe 40 liters of water with 2 things that they bring back. For all purposes, they get only 40 liters. I used to work in a village 60 kilometers west of Rajkot in Gujarat. Must have been in 93. Mark Tully, the BBC correspondent, wrote about it later. This village was called Raj Samdhyala. And in the village, each person, the panchayat, which is the local governance, shall we say, decided that they will charge them for every 20 liters bucket of water, they would charge them 4 rupees. Can you imagine the cost per liter, therefore, that they were paying? And as I've said before, and I'm saying this now to John so that he recalibrates, whatever he wants to share as reflections with us, that, in cities like ours, 1/3 of our population lives in slums, what we call slums, or you want to call them something as an euphemism, I'm okay with that, and they pay about 3 times what I pay in my house, right? I want you to keep this in mind, John DeYoung, and I'm really glad that Mary has strung together, this point of view series with you starting and Rodney coming in next and somebody else coming in from Singapore on process and protocols. Mary is sort of a genius. She's somebody who is, and she says the same of us in Bangalore. She sort of galvanized a whole lot of energy for us. And I'm seeing that more than those people who come in and see it here, it's like the Oprah Winfrey show, Very few people sit there and see it. The ones who see it on YouTube are a lot more. So you be assured that even if we are very small and a discerning group of people here, it's being watched. Over to you, Mary, and then to John.
Yeah, well, thank you, Dr. Hari. A pleasure to be here with you all. And I think the point of today's and this whole series is to address a great big vision, which John has called Water for All. And I think we all have been focused on addressing those who sadly don't have clean drinking water. And we take it for granted here in the Midwest. But John has been laboring and supporting an orphanage up in Calcutta and saw the need for water firsthand there. And that's what led to the innovation that you'll hear about with Vivo Blue. What's really nice is we all understand the issues of maintenance. Once we get these systems into people's hands, his system is able to address not only maintenance, but also an extended life. So affordability in a way that others haven't been able to do. And so I'm going to turn it over to John, but I just want to say the next two sessions we'll talk about chlorine as a safety measure, to address microbials in the water. And then finally, we're going to talk about just the best practices for how we engage and educate and reach out to people who do not have access to water and best practices for maintaining solutions. So John, thrilled to have you here. I know you've had a whirlwind week with lots of new partners coming on because they see the value of your solutions. So we'd love to hear the evolution of it, your idea, and then the long-term vision. So take it away. I know you also have some slides and we're happy for you to share those.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mary and Dr. Hari and Raj and people I've met. Frank, good to see you again. How are you? Thank you so much. I'm really honored and humbled to be a part of this community, in such an esteemed community who's been working in water much longer than I have. And I entered the water story about 5 years ago, discovering that clean water was a solution to so many of the problems that the young and the poor and the villages and then the slums are dealing with. We are in Calcutta, India. And so again, a lot of the people live in the slums. And I'm also in the village of Pratapur in West Bengal, just about 3 hours away from Calcutta. And so I was there. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick.
Is there a static? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That was, I think, Rodney who came in.
All right.
Good morning, Rodney. So let me see here. Let me back out one more time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I was there in India, and this is actually a child in my village, and her older sister goes to my school. And when we brought filters, gravity-fed point-of-use filters to this village 2 years ago, I got a chance to see the mother drink the water from the gravity-fed bucket, give to the older daughter, and the older daughter fed their baby. And so I saw 3 generations right there really drinking the water and experiencing what clean water looks like and what it feels like. And so that really touched my heart. I've been to India over 26 times. And it all started in 2008 when I went, and I fell in love with not only the culture, but the people, right? I fell in love with the people and I saw this great need, and somehow my heart was drawn toward India, and it's been drawn ever since. And so I helped start a school in 2015, and that's when we started with the water program. And in the water program, a vision came to my mind, is like improve 1 billion lives. Our 15-year company goal is to bring life-saving water, life-giving water to the billion people around the world. That's 200 million point-of-use gravity-fed filters. We all know why we do it. The global crisis, we know that people need water and that children are dying and that women and men are walking hundreds and millions of hours every day to the water. And Hari, Dr. Hari, to your point is, when they walk, that's when they have some family time. That's when they're talking to, their fellow friends who are like, oh, this is what's going on with my life. And so there is there's a reason why they walk sometimes to that, right? There's something there culturally that they need to do, but when they come back with the water that they have, the water is contaminated. So they go all the way to go get contaminated water, and they come all the way back with contaminated water. And that is our system. Our system is in the home. It's a gravity-fed filtration system. And the designs that I had used prior to developing the one that we have now, which is the Vivo Blue filter, Vivo Blue has a mission to create the best water filtration systems in the world. We discovered this. I discovered using the Sawyer filter and some other filters that are gravity fed, that the cost was too high for my organization to purchase them. And then there was all of these maintenance problems with the backwashing and cleaning. And they had extra parts. Like if you got a Sawyer system, you would get a syringe and you'd have to get another cup. And then you have to work and push the water back. When we think about water and how it works, we know that water and gravity-fed systems work at about 2 to 3 PSI as it goes through the 0.1 micron. What I discovered is that if you push water back through it, you're pushing 20 PSI through it, 30 PSI, depending on how hard the user pushes it back. And then what it did, as I recognized, that could create a risk of contamination because you could damage the filters by putting too much water back into it too quickly and too fast. And what I also realized is that some of it was made of pretty low quality plastics and low quality fibers. And I knew then that my children and my students and my families needed something different, something that was very high quality. It eliminated the backwash and it was cost effective. And so we created this filter called the Vivo Blue solution, right? The filter goes inside the bucket. The water goes from the top, filters through the filter and into the second bucket. And so what that allows the family to do is put the dirty, contaminated water on the top up here, and it filters through into the second clean bucket. Our filters are durable, simple, and affordable. And the way that we actually clean the filter, oh, sorry, let me go back. So we believe that we have a better design and a better value filter. Every drop of water, Vivo Blue filter, costs less than the water from a competitor system. Our filters last up to 2 years, and maybe even more, depending on how much turbidity and dirt and contamination is on that filter. So we eliminated the back washing and we eliminated the back flushing. That is a patented system, right? You can rinse the filter. So simple for anyone to use. So simple that even if you're not educated, which there's millions of people around the world and millions of people in India who are not educated, all you have to do is twist off the top and then rinse the filter. We have a quick swap cartridge about our filter because we're the only filter system that allows you to go ahead and just swap out the actual core filter system so that you don't have to purchase the whole filter over and over and over again. And of course, the reason why we did this is we wanted to use the highest hollow fiber technology possible and meet human instinct. We didn't want to force or train human instinct that they were not used to. Our filter, let me slide this over here. All right. Our filter is a very simple unit. You have the cover, which covers and protects it. You got the hollow fiber filter here, and then you actually just have where the water comes out here and it goes into the bucket. All you have to do to clean it is twist this off and then clean the filter and rinse it in the bucket. So this is how it looks real life. You know, you have a family that goes and walks and gets their 40 liters of water, contaminated dirty water, any they want, whether the well could be contaminated, the river could be contaminated, the lakes could be contaminated. And they bring in the water to their home. And then they put the water in the top of the bucket and the water starts to filter. And then from there, they can tap the water from the bottom bucket. Now our bucket system, our double bucket system in our filter runs at about 1 liter per minute. And so within 15, 20 minutes, they have all the water they need for the day. I was just in Virginia with an organization called Operation Blessing a couple days ago, and we tested the filter, the speed of it. We got 1 liter of water in 32 seconds. And I think that's because it was we were at sea level. I'm in Denver, which is, about 5,500 feet in the air. And so because of sea level, the head pressure of the water was so much more. We were getting 1 liter every 32 seconds at Operation Blessing. So the flow rate is absolutely incredible in that. And so what it does is it gives access to the family, access to water for the family very quickly. As soon as they put it in, the water is flowing and it's clean. And so let me see here, right here. So we are building purpose-built water filters for the world. And you can see sort of in the image behind me over here that all you have to do is put the dirty water on top right here, and the clean water comes to the bottom. You just put the dirty water on top. There you go. And the clean water comes to the bottom. And then you can just, as a water cooler, just like an office water cooler, you can just tap it from the bottom and you can have all the water that you need. And if this filter is very cost effective, and it's going to give water at 0.0001 cents per liter, assuming that a family uses about 36 to 40 liters a day. And that could be 5 people, 6 people, even if they share it with their friends. And so what we discovered in India, as we're working in India, where our filters are in the Philippines, our filters are in India, West Bengal, India. They're also going up to Gujarat and Rajasthan right now. We have filters going right now in Rwanda. We have filters in Kenya. We have filters going to Ethiopia. We have filters in Haiti. We have filters in Peru. We have filters in Guatemala. We have filters now in 11 countries. And as we're gathering data from the organizations and the communities that are using these filters, the first thing they say is the water tastes good. The water tastes good. And then we've been testing the filtration system, the filtered water, and the water's coming out as clean as Dasani water or Bisleri water or Kinley water in that. And so it's because it's 0.1 micron hollow fiber membranes, our filtration system is what they call log 7, 99 point, and then 5 nines, 99999 pure. No contaminants along the way. It does not do viruses, but it will take away all of the contaminants along the way that are harmful to the body, such as the bacteria, the cholera, the E. coli, the Giardia, and the protozoas, and all of the cysts. So that's our system, and we want to make sure. And the way that we work is we work with partners who are on ground. We work with countries and governments and communities and leaders who are on ground. And what we do is we work together. And how do we get these filters into the hands of the community? Only through partnership can we actually succeed. If I try to do this on my own, it would literally be impossible. But we're partnering with organizations like Convoy of Hope, Compassion International, Operation Blessing, Momentum Global, all these organizations around the world, Arise Rwanda, Hope Haven Rwanda. We're working with businesses that are for-profit businesses as well, that are like, we want to give these to the community of the poor and anyone who wants a filter like that. And so that's how we that's our model, is we have an amazing filter. Our vision is water for all, World Water Aid. But to partner, the only way we can accomplish our mission is to partner with people who know how to get the filters into the hands of the people. We will continue to make the best filters in the world that work for the people. And then the people we partner with will be the ones who will be able to hand them to the people that need the water the most. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it, Mary and everybody. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Raj has a question here. I think you're on mute right now, Raj.
Raj, you're muted. Dr. Raj, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. What John wants to set up a manufacturing system for his hollow filters. And please look into that. And we know several entrepreneurs in India, you know them, who will be willing to partner with Vivo Blue. So that is something that will reduce the cost even further, and it'll be a good distribution point for all of Asia if we can have a manufacturing plant in somewhere in India. Okay, think
Good
about
point.
that.
I
And
will.
let's work on it. Okay, thank
I
you.
will. John, I'm sure you know that the current regime in India, which is on its second term, Donald Trump couldn't make it, somebody else made it here. And, he is very clear that we need to make things in India. That is, the technology can come from elsewhere. Which takes me to the other question. Dr. Raj has already preempted me. How do we make the technology available in ways that it can scale across regions? And not, that is there a way of your saying, I'm not saying that you should make it, what is it called? An outsource that's free. But is there a way of accelerating this whole thing across regions? These three continents, I'd say, South America, Africa, and India. South America, not so much, because the population challenge is not as severe as it is in these two parts, and India is top of the heap.
Yeah, I think when we think about accelerating the distribution model of the filter system itself, it really comes down to getting community leaders and people in the area to say, hey, we want this for our people, and to be able to have a conversation with, let's say the community leaders in Calcutta, and saying, how can we get this together, or community leaders in Delhi, or wherever, we all are, is how do we get our community leaders to see the need? And I think they do see the need, but sometimes the solutions don't meet the need. There's a lot of solutions out there, right? But sometimes they don't meet the exact need of the people. And ours is very specific to reaching the people who have, who really need the water, and the poorest of the poor. And so, in that, if we connect with community leaders and organizations like the ones that are here on this panel, then what we can do is we can move these filters a little bit more. The goal is to create our filters so that anyone can go on the internet in India or America or anywhere and just purchase the filter themselves. So that they can just go ahead and purchase the filters with a couple buckets, and then it comes right to their home. The goal is to get to that solution, but we want to be able to kind of feed the market and get in there as well, so it becomes the desire. They understand the product as well.
What happens if there is biological contamination in the water, or there is, let's say, chemical contamination?
It eliminates all the biological contamination in the water. It cannot eliminate anything that dissolves specifically in the water because it's 0.1, right? So let's say you have some sort of agricultural leakage that may be some fertilizer, right, along the way, and it seeps through the water. It will take some of it out, but I cannot guarantee that it will take all of it out. Right. I know the limits of our filter. I know what it can do. I know some of the things that it cannot do. Right. I'm not gonna say you can do all these things when it cannot do that, actually.
In Kolkata, what is the price at which you're selling, John?
We are selling the filters. So what we're doing is this is really interesting. My nonprofit and then other nonprofits are purchasing the filters for about $35, which is about, just
plus.
under, $1.50, $1 something a month. And then what we're doing is we're giving the filters to the poor, but we're asking them to give something. We want a little investment back. They give something back, 20 rupees, 10 rupees, or something like that, back for the filter per month. And so what we're doing is we're generating the fact that they care about the filters. It's very easy to maintain. It's the easiest to maintain on the market. Our filter is the easiest to maintain on the market. So we do that. And so we give about $35 per filter. Yes, and it lasts 2 years.
We have a builder here. He's building another 200 homes in the next maybe year or so. Now, can he get his residents, people who are going to buy and settle down there, to say, well, I'm not going to go in for that abominable RO system. that your system can be used there. Is that a possibility?
Yes, yes. In fact, there's a gentleman in Calcutta who is a general contractor. His name is Deepak, and we've been talking to him. And he creates a lot of 5-story small apartments and condos that he would put a filter in each room, not in room, each condo, and so that as he's building the units, he puts in a 2-bucket system with the filter. And he would just go ahead and do that because it gives everyone the ability to have clean water.
Since you have come in, before I move to say Suhail, he's saying that about 2,000 rupees or so, when he says $70, is what the system costs retail, right? But forget the cost. What would be your questions, Vikas, given, at both levels, at the urban level of what we need to do at point of use, and of course, in our villages. Chandra is not here. Maybe you want to hazard a guess on that one, Vikas, or maybe offer a view on that. Vikas? I think he's having some network challenge. He told me earlier. So, any question from that point of view?
So I have a couple of questions. Is this a complete alternative to RO, or RO is still superior? That's one technical question. And the question is, another one is it one size fits all? The same filter works anywhere in the country, or do water parameters matter city to city for your filter design?
Yes. So our filter is specifically designed. We are utilizing medical grade hollow fiber membrane. So this is the same membrane that is used in medical kidney dialysis machines. And so the fiber itself is a barrier filter. It doesn't have any special skills or any talents, except for the fact that it eliminates all bacteria, protozoa, cysts, and Pseudomonas bacteria along the way. And so you can take this filter and put it in any community, and it will filter the water. We do believe this is an incredible global filter. It will work with the water in Fiji, as well as it will work with the water in Cambodia, India, northern India, southern India. What it cannot do is it does not eliminate salt. I know I've been asked a few times, well, what about salt? Can it eliminate salt? No, it can't. Salt dissolves in all the water and it goes through because the water carries the salt with it, in that. And so it doesn't do that. But what it does do is it eliminates 99.9999% of all the bacteria and dangerous protozoas and cysts that actually cause the illnesses and the deaths in the world.
Okay. Mine is a very basic question. When you say filter, in your case, are you talking about the basic ultrafiltration membrane? Is that what you're talking about?
It's not ultrafiltration. It is gravity fed filtration. Let me. So this is the filter right here.
Okay.
And so it has all of these fibers. Oh, where's that camera? What?
No, that's because of your frame, because of your. Yeah.
I'm going to turn off my virtual.
Absolutely. You got it. Right. Yeah. There you go.
Sorry. All right. So there's the hollow fibers right in there.
Okay.
And the water goes through it out here into the second bucket. And so you see that. And so the way that it works is that it literally, you just screw it in.
Sure.
Nice and tight.
Yeah.
And there's the filtration system.
Yeah.
Now, because it's hollow fiber, it is it's barrier filtration. So in order to clean it, all your bacteria and your contaminants lay on top of the filters. So what happens is the flow rate starts to go down and it's just laying on top of those fibers there. All I have to do is take it, put it in the bucket, rinse it really vigorously for 10 to 20 seconds, and then all of that stuff will come off. It'll be bright white.
Like a hose wash. Okay. Chandra, you know your own filtration system and what you offer. You came in a little late. He says the flow rate is roughly 2 liters to a minute. Okay. And there's Vikas here. I think he has a network problem, so he's not speaking. How does your system differ from what John's offering? Chandra. I think, you have to unmute. And I think your cost is probably $1,500, $1,600. That's what I thought you were saying. No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. No.
So-
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There's another question while he comes back. Well, let him sort out his audio. John, to you, it's on the chat. I'll read it for you. How does it handle? Yeah. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Chandra.
So my filter is basically a nano clay filter made up of clay, a short candle similar to brick making. The difference is the pores are nano size, so it will not allow the pathogens to come down. Plus added advantage is the heavy metals are also taken care of. So turbidity, color, order, pathogen and heavy metals. And rightly as John said, these are all gravity filtration method. So we cannot talk about TDS here. Again, TDS is a matter of debate because nobody has explained clearly what is total dissolved solids.
Absolutely.
Which I think 80% are good solids, which we also remove indiscriminately by using RO. Whereas these are all the real filters which can eliminate the issues of a rural Indian populace.
Sure.
That's-
Sam is raised. Sam, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Good morning. Good.
Okay. Yeah. The one the suggestion is like a kind of like an idea. I just thought it is for the builders mainly when we are having that when they're building like an apartment or whatever it is in the kitchen where the normal tap goes in, like we are doing the one, they can have like a separate gear itself, and then a little bit of small box like thing where the only just the filter goes there, and then another tap comes in. So exclusively for the drinking water purpose, not for the cooking and cleaning of the things, like the normal tap can be used. So where they can tap the water, where they can use this filter candles only in that little, they can make it a box type of thing. We don't need that whole filter to be bought in, right? The only candle they can put in, and then another tap will be there. So or a period of time, like these people can take it out, clean it off and all the thing. And it should be like at least 2-3 of these manufacturers, so the type of
Sure.
thing they can able to fix
Sure.
in. They don't need it, like they don't use it, like the normal tap is already there, just a size.
Back to you, John, on what Chandra said.
This is the basic model, sir. This is a nano clay candle, just fitted in.
Your audio is very low, Chandra. Your audio is crazy.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, please.
That's
You
much
don't.
better.
Much better. Yeah.
Oh, it is basically nano clay candle.
Now we lost you again.
It is
you have to-
nano clay candle.
Yeah.
It is made like bricks only. The basic difference is the pores are nano sized and they are
I got
controlled
that. No,
with
no.
the 30 days process. So water is poured on the top vessel, gets filtered and comes down, and the assembly is also very simple. Just
And
nut and
what,
wash.
at what price does a family get it?
Around 2,000 Indian rupees, somewhere around $20 US.
It's actually much less than that, Chandra. Yeah, I know you're able to give it at 1,500, 1,600, unless you change things after
because
COVID.
when institutional buyers like World Vision and other people buy, we of course give them at a lesser price.
Okay,
We take care of the transportation, and I am telling about the last mile delivery.
sure. I know this, but let me ask you one more question.
Yeah.
Good, you put up this TerraFill candle. John will respond to that. How many households have you sort of catered to with the system in the last 5-6 years? They need to know.
Around 320,000 households.
Right. John, you heard that. Now, can you respond? When he said about heavy metals, what's your response to that? And how do we, I mean, you're all on one side of the table. To me, you're not competitors. You are all great guys who are contributing to the purpose.
Yeah.
So what is it that's different about his system? And as a professional, what do you think your response is to him?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that a lot of people are worried about when we talk about our filtration system is, can it take out hardness and arsenic, some of the elements that
Yep.
are out there. I'm reading the chat line a little bit.
Right.
We just tested the hardness in Virginia with Operation Blessing, and it reduces the hardness quite a bit. The hardness level of the water that we brought in was 8 level. And then when it went through our system, it came out at 4. And so it took about 50% of the hardness out of it. What we've also discovered is that we know that arsenic is very difficult to get out. And I'm very pleased to see that this can take out the arsenic in some of the filtration system here. We know that arsenic can go through naturally, but we've seen arsenic reduced to safe levels in our filter in India, because sometimes the arsenic is attaching itself to a contaminant or to an element that's bigger than 0.1, and then the arsenic cannot go through. But it will not take away the chemicals in some of that. We also know that if you use like some sort of charcoal or something to eliminate some of the other things along the way, in order for that to really work, is that as it's going through and filtering through it, it really needs to sit in that charcoal for a little bit so it can actually collect all the elements along the way. So yeah, this is a really interesting system. It's double
But
bucket
here,
like this.
what we have done, these cartridges are having the pre-measured weighed arsenic adsorbent developed by IIT Madras, Dr. Pradeep's technology, but we made it as a product. Just you have to plug it below the TerraFill candle, the clay candle. Instead of the nut, you run this cartridge. And this can run easily for 3 to 4 years. Beyond that, people can themselves open the cartridge, replace the material, and again fit it and forget. So everything is do it yourself. And on the fluoride removal, we have done something very interesting. The calcium stones are doped with the adsorbent, nano adsorbent, which removes fluoride. So you have to just soak it in the white bucket, what I see in the second picture on my screen. You have to soak the fluoride red water for the whole night, say 8 to 12 hours. Then it will remove all the fluoride and also give doses of calcium for the people who are already calcium deficient. So, and it is not smelling bad like alumina, because normally what is used in India is alumina. It may remove fluoride, but the smell is so pungent, people cannot drink it. It is not palatable. So you pour the calcium rich water, which is deprived of fluoride, into the TerraFill filter, which will further remove the turbidity, color, odor, and pathogen, of course. And what comes below will be a potable water. So we have tailor-made it specifically to region-specific areas in India, so that once we know the pin code and the place, we know what type of filter we should give. And that made us get big ticket clients like World Vision India, WaterAid, Water.org, Habitat, United Way, and so on. Thank you.
So, Chandra, when he says that the 0.1 micron is the safe barrier in some ways for him or for his system, what would be your response to that? Because when you talk heavy metals, when he talks 0.1 micron.
Yeah, fine. The nano is something like 10 to the power of -8 to 10 to the power of 12. So that is where all the heavy metals are stayed back. Those molecules are very heavier and bigger, larger, and somebody may immediately quip a question, how is it comparable with the ceramic candles? Yeah. See, ceramic, when you blow it, it needs 1200 degrees centigrade, and the porosity is not uniform. Sometimes it blows big, sometimes it blows small, so that there are pockets formed in the ceramic candle in which the bacteria will go and sit pretty, and you cannot clean it, and it will foul, give a bad smell. Whereas in this technology, the holes are top to bottom, throughout. And so if I strictly say it is nano, it means all the impurities should stay on the top level itself, and you can smug and wash it off. So that is the big difference between other technology and this. And this has used since 2009. It is 2021 now, almost 10 to 12 years. We had been using it, and I had been using it in my home office, thereby avoiding buying of bubble tops, which are a big menace in the country, where all the good minerals are removed. And in fact, that is a danger to the people, and people don't understand the landfill also, which is created by RO. Every 3 months, I have creating a huge pile of landfill. That is one point.
RO technology has to go unless absolutely brackish water, very, very, very brackish water, it might work. But what, Dr. Chandra, if you can work with John and seeing manufacturing his type of filter
Yeah.
in India, in Indian cost conditions,
Yeah.
how much will it be?
Yeah,
He's
there
saying
are already, sir,
$50.
that is, I am also a plastic technologist. Luckily, it is polysulfone closed fibers. I know what material is using, and there is Lifestraw. There is a lot of companies who want to collaborate and bring it to India. The
Yeah.
very problem is the replacement cost, what a poor man cannot afford in India.
Mhm.
So this may have a good market, I'll tell you, for specific reasons, for travelers, for nomads who are walking down, or maybe sports persons, or people who are doing jogging and stuff like that. Those people can have this thing because any water they go on the way en route, their marathon or something like that, just pick up any water, or a traveler in Himalayas, maybe he picks up some river water and spring water. There, I think John's product will obviously fit in. I am ready to collaborate. See, for me, no brand or anything matters. If at all I'm able to give the right product to the right people, I don't mind putting John's big label on the front and me sitting below as a manufacturer. I don't mind it. OEM. Okay.
Well,
Point
I
is,
tell you
how are
what.
we reaching to the last mile? That is important.
Yeah, Chandra, I tell you what, I would love to continue that conversation.
Yeah.
There was a good question that's asked in the chat that's asked, how does this filter actually work? Could I show just a 1-minute video that shows how to clean it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So this is a video right here. So this shows how to clean our filter. And so there's the filter on top. We ran 100 gallons, which is about 400 liters of dirty water through it and didn't clean it. And so it's going to be really, really dirty, and it's going to be very contaminated. So there you see how dark and contaminated it is. And then all you have to do is you can just rinse it even in there because it's barrier filtration. And this is how you keep your filter working all the time, is you do this once a day. And then there's your filter again.
Yeah.
Very nice and clean.
What is how long does this filter last? What's its life, and what does it cost to replace? That's the question Chandra was asking.
So let me stop you. Those are great questions. So the filter in quantity is about $35. They start at $40, but then they go all the way down to $30, which is just about 2,000 rupees, I think, somewhere along there. This is replaceable every 2 years. So you don't have to buy the whole filter. You just buy this.
And how much?
No, what is it doing extra? John, I wanted to know what is it doing extra than what my filter is doing?
It's not doing that much more extra than your filter is doing. I like what you got going on there as well. I really do. It does eliminate all the biologics, just like yours does as well. And then and so it eliminates all the biologics that are actually damaging to the human body in that as well. So it does get rid of it.
No, interestingly, that happens with my filter also, because in Kerala flood, the whole place was inundated. There was a lot of biological contamination in the water. Plus, what they did to kill it, they put too much of chlorine. So it was water was chlorinated very heavily. So we took active carbon back, like a dip bag, just put it on the top of the vessel. The water became totally black, and the active carbon was good enough to remove the smell of the chlorine, as well as also reduce the heavy metals to some extent. So what water we got below was too good. So I am asking, in Indian context, how relevant is your product for everybody down the line?
I'm sorry, how is everyone?
No, one is the cost parameter. Affordability is a question. See, when my filter is somewhere around $20 and goes on and on for 10 years or even beyond that, just same way, we have to just rinse wash the top layer of the candle, and it can go on and on. Plus, we have region-specific filter like arsenic and fluoride removal. So once they tell the pin code, I am so much, my body is full of the geographical anomaly. I know it by heart. You just tell me the state. I can tell you what anomaly is there. Some areas have combination of iron and arsenic. And you know very well, in absence of iron only, arsenic is detectable, which is a problem in specifically in West Bengal and the Northeast. A lot of these problems are there. They go and dip the tester and they find that there is no arsenic. But in reality, if you go fine tune, you remove the iron with my candle and then you filter and see arsenic is detected and it is very much visible.
So
So
John,
he
there are
takes-
two, John, there are two questions from Chandra, therefore. One, he says, well, how do you disrupt cost further? You know, because he's already at $20. Okay.
No, in bulk, what Hari said is 1,500 or maybe 1,200 if somebody is going to be a very big volume. Let the government come forward and say, okay, you don't take any margin, but let us break even. I'm happy to do it. Because
You see
somebody has to break the barrier and take it to the common man, right? So how do
So
you do
I
that?
would, I would love to be able to figure out how to break the cost barrier in India. I would love to learn how to do that. And Chandra, maybe because you're in plastic injection molding and you're doing some of those types of things.
Yeah,
The most expensive piece is the fibers. The fibers are expensive. And
Yeah.
so what we would love to do is if we can manufacture in India, if we could
Yeah.
figure out how to build the fibers in India, plastic is cheap. The food grade plastic, good plastic is cheap, you know?
Yeah.
It's the fibers that we need to really work on. And so if we
fiber
can
is
bring
available
the
very much
cost
in
down-
India. John,
Yeah.
happy news is fiber is very much available in India. I can give it to you, no issues. But if you are able to see, we need to target what type of customer are we going to cater. By bringing
Yeah.
down the cost, say like half the price, like $10. If you are able to bring it to $10, this is a good boon for all the travelers. Good boon for all the cyclists, all the sports persons. So it is they who can easily carry it in their haversack and take it along. They cannot take my big bucket in the haversack.
So you see, John, you know, beyond the market that you have been addressing in Kolkata, with the poor, clean access for the poor, and so on, what I think Chandra is saying is go for this other market of guys who don't have to therefore buy those blessed distillery bottles that you talked about,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
and they could fill water anywhere and use this filter.
So
John?
we reduce the pet bottle menace.
So what happens is you redefine your market.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Now, Chandra's product it's clay, you know, and it's not something that you carry with you. You see him intuitively as an entrepreneur, how he is pitching. While he said there is no ego and no logo, he's saying, let's make a distinction. Let's see how your product is manufactured here in a way that we address this urban market. You know, the guys who buy things at Decathlon, for instance. I mean, put this, guys of that kind, the target market.
Yeah.
While Chandra blissfully continues to give those systems which work for longer terms, for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years in households. I think that is how he's defining this market. Chandra, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, you are perfect, sir. You are bang on target.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant observation because there's sort of a high-end aspect to John's product that I would be happy to have in my home or, you know, elsewhere. But I think a key thing that we aren't addressing yet that I know Chandra has experience on, and also John with the partnering, is how do we solve the water crisis in this generation? You know, by creating these models. The solutions are there. The tech is there.
If I can add one more thing, because you all are water experts and too good at that, how do we create a mandate, a blue paper to be presented to any government, where we say where RO has to be used, where RO need not be used? That's a big barrier. See, wherever I go in government contracts or big orders, the RO companies come and just dump anything, which is useless, or rather I would say once in 3 months you need to add on OPEX. And you have to dump the fibers as a landfill, which is an astounding 30 million tons in India. So we need to see where we can put a checklist and say to the government, my dear, it is only pathological problem in this one.
Work on that. Chandra, we'll work on that. In fact, Suhail also represents the Sustainability Committee. He heads it for CREDAI in India. So, you know, he's listening carefully because I know that he wants to see how he can take some serious recommendations to the State Pollution Control Board here in Karnataka. He also, you know, shares my city. And well, to see how we can take it to other places too is what I have been talking to him about. Mary said something about how she will want to use a system like this if it is proven to be, you know, assuring on health and on water quality terms. Murli, can I ask you? You are one guy who uses, I think, still Chandra's water filtration system at your home. Is that right, Mary? Murli? Are you there? No one seems to be there. They're all muted or. manure.
What?
Nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You heard my question?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Can you respond, please?
Yeah, I'm there.
No. The question was,
I'm there, sir.
I got it, Murli. The question is,
That was the first message I had put it in the chat when the entire discussion began.
can you articulate, please?
Yes, sir.
Can you articulate?
I saw his question
sir.
in the chat about
Not-
the issue.
No, Murli, I hope you can hear me, Murli. My question is,
Hari,
Am I audible?
sir, actually,
I
I
just
think
lost you.
Murli
Can
is
you-
getting
can you
a
just
little
repeat your
bit
question?
delayed.
one more. Yes, Neil Matthews. Go on, please.
Murli is getting the sound little delayed.
Okay. Murli, should I repeat the question? I'll do it slowly. You are using one of Chandra's water filtration systems in your home. I don't know
Yeah,
if
am I
you're still-
audible now?
Oh, he can't hear us. Yes, please.
Yes, Yes, sir, please.
So what is your experience of Chandra's system? How good is it or how bad
Yes,
is
sir.
it? No, he's not able to hear us. Okay.
Yeah, you see, I used to use a. To be honest, it has been excellent. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, I bought Dr. Chandra system about a year back. I've been using it at home. None of us have got the acidity issues what we used to face earlier.
Okay.
Because
was
of,
the-
the RO. Sir.
You were using RO earlier.
Yeah, we were using RO earlier, and when I checked the TDS once, it was about 26, and I was shocked. Then immediately I bought this system. After that time onwards, none of us have had any health-related issues with respect to water.
The TDS was 26 with the RO system. Have you done a quality test, water quality test after you bought his system, Chandra's system?
Yes, I have a water testing kit at home, and last when I tested, the Kaveri water TDS was 112, and
Oh.
after the Dr. Chandra system, it was the same. pH was in neutral, and TDS was in the acceptable limit, and water tastes really good.
Mhm.
Are you being nice to Chandra because you want to do business with him?
Uh,
No, sir, absolutely not. In fact, I have bought these systems for my mom and 3 of my aunts.
Okay. Mary, go on.
Yeah, I'll tell you the critical point in what Murali is saying. I'm happy about that. I have innumerable people from villages telling me the knee joint problem and all those rheumatic issues have been eliminated by drinking my water in a slow process. I got some clients from Austria also telling me this. So why I understood later, the small doses of iodine or potassium and calcium, which is going in smaller doses, because TDS is not removed drastically, is helping them in building up the immunity and the bone strength. That is what has happened with Murali's system as well.
Sure.
And also the essential minerals which are retained are to be retained. So
Sure.
TDS is a word which is to be rechristened as selective dissolved solids removal. What are those bad elements we need to find out, and only
Okay.
those we find out.
I got
Okay.
that.
I have
And
a
sir, I just
question.
want to add one more point here. Earlier, when we used to drink the RO water, even if we drink 2 glasses of 3 glasses of water, the thirst never used to get quenched. But with this system, just 1 glass of water, the thirst gets quenched.
Sounds like some fairy tale that you're telling us,
Is-
Mary. Sorry, Murli.
No,
Now,
sir,
is that because-
No, it's a
I can
fact, sir.
actually have given it to one of my friend also.
Mhm.
And this is what the statement he has sent on my WhatsApp, which I can share it with you. I'm not making it up.
Sure. John, have you had such health checks made, with people who have consumed the water post your treatment system?
Yes, we have had health. That's a great question because you can do all the systems in the world, but if it's not helping the health, what is the point, right? So we've had our filters out there for about 30 months now. Some of them 18 to 30 months, and what we're discovering is, and what we know is the data that's coming back. is the people are getting healthier and they're not going to the hospital. When we have these filters in Uganda, quick story is they for the first time in their life, they didn't have diarrhea, and they thought something was wrong with their body because their bowel movement was normal. In that same thing that happened in India, we had normal bowel movements where people were reducing their tummies. They were getting healthier along the way. And we all know that once you put clean water into your body, it only takes maybe a week or so your body to start taking that water in so well that your body starts to change in that. And so, yeah, we've had tremendous success in the health of our users. Yeah. But I think what I would love to do is I would love to partner with some of you people here, because as I'm thinking about, man, look at this, the extreme wealth of knowledge in this group is amazing. I'd love to be able to come. I'm coming to India this summer and meet you guys and just learn about your organization, learn about your business, walk through some things, learn as well. Yep.
John, I will send you, just now Murli reminds me, maybe 2 months ago, I had invited one of these people who is making a system somewhat similar to what yours is, not like Chandra's system. And he uses, I think, a filtration system closer to what you are doing as membranes and stuff goes. He sells it at, Murli, do you remember what price he sells it at, now that you reminded me of this boy from Belgaum?
What he has developed is just the standard bottle cap, which can be replaced for any 1 liter water bottle.
Correct.
And it has same filter system what John has developed, and it can he sells it at 500 rupees.
Exactly. You know, John, this guy, I'll send you the YouTube recording of that whatever presentation that he made. The thing is, therefore, Raj is not here. Mary, to you, the question is this. You and I are here to try and see what we can do to, shall we say, nurture, create, and feed market ecosystems, right?
Yeah.
If that is what we are here for, Mary, if that's what we are here for, how do we get these guys now with their technical ability and the severe challenge that they have on marketing? Chandra is smiling away here and talking of all of these things. I know that every hour of every day is a massive struggle for him to get markets, right? And obviously John is also having these same challenges. So how do we help these people to get markets is the question, not technology, not more manufacturing. And so all of this is something that they will know how to manage back end. Mary, any points on that as a business school person?
Yeah, well, I think actually both of them have great experience in this area working with churches or that distribution channel that has a natural affinity and a desire to make this a reality where everyone has clean water. But a group that I had hoped would be on this call, I'm hoping they'll join in the rest of our series is Wings Promos. They have establishments, they do marketing all across India and 350 cities, and they have a great webinar on our Global Waterworks community where they talk about how do we penetrate different cities. So I think the model that John's using and Chandra a little bit with Convoy of Hope, with these groups that already have a mandate to serve these organizations and have relationships is one way to go. But I think a broader piece with all the youth that we have, engaging them so that they could come on to John's site or someone's site and see they could sponsor a household, they could sponsor a village, they could sponsor a school in getting water, and then have them, like we have a model, Compassion International, where you sponsor a child and you commit to serve that child. And I think those are my initial thoughts, but having partners, we're talking about Hands Across America and India, if we can have these efforts where John actually does a really good job of documenting, and I put something in the chat where they're on site serving. It's a beautiful thing where the people can know that their impact of investment is paying off right there. But
Mary, I'm going one dimension further, Mary. I'm saying, well, I of course concede that, the poor can't pay for it. Therefore, we have to see that we do something about it. And I'm completely with you on that. However, if I were to look at, let's say, what Chandra is offering, or let's say John's offering, if there is a sort of distinction in the ways that Chandra sort of inferred earlier, and I interpreted, if we are able to get the two market segments for the two products sorted out first, second, we are able to say, if a Murli, who is certainly not a poor, who is not from a slum, can use this system and say what he is saying here as powerful endorsement, why on earth can that system of Chandra's not beat all these wonderful big bad boys in the RO world? How do we take that on? How do we help these guys to do that? That is the question for me.
yeah,
Murli, let me ask you, between that RO system that you had earlier and this system of Chandra's that you have got here and that you seem to be, endorsing so powerfully, I don't know why you're doing it. You obviously have some business things that you want to get out of Chandra. But if you're genuinely endorsing it as powerfully, my question to you is it sexy enough? Is it interesting enough to look at? Is it only advertising that he lacks? What is it that, deters somebody from buying? There is a Suhail Rahman here. He has got probably 400 families whom he can, shall we say, influence in some ways, if he really believes that the system is working. Over to you, Murli.
Sir, one thing what I have seen is, the RO mafia has spread its tentacles so far and so big in the market.
No, we'll leave it there. Now I'm saying, how do we take them on healthily as a market? What is it that Chandra needs that we need to be doing from your point of view in order to take on the RO world?
Sir, one thing is, we have to, the myth in the market is the moment you buy RO system, it removes all impurities, all microorganisms, everything is what they say. But we know for the fact that it doesn't.
Correct.
If you have RO and UV, then it does the system.
Correct.
But whenever I meet anybody, I talk to anybody, I make it a point to tell them that, boss, if you are using your Kaveri water or if your water source is clean, where you are not extracting the water from borewell, please use this filter where it is healthy and where you are not wasting the water, plus you get a quality water to drink. That is the education which we have to convey to everybody.
Okay, so there is a catch. You are saying that,
sir,
you're saying that if this, go on, please. Sorry.
One minute. Since Sohail Rahman is also there in this call, many apartments in Bangalore, they have a water softener system and they have a RO system, which is common for the entire community.
Right.
Despite that, every apartment has a RO UV system. Why do they need it? They don't need it at all.
Sure.
It is some education campaign which has to be done, and it will definitely work. It needs a concentrated, dedicated effort, but it will definitely work.
Okay. Before Suhail responds, I'm sure he will want to say something. My question to you is, you seem to have qualified now by saying, if the water is from, let's say, a formal municipal grid supply, I'm not saying Kaveri because people are from various cities and towns and countries. What are you saying? Therefore, Chandra's system, or let's say John's system, will not work as well if it is water from bore wells. Chandra, you want to take that? You have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself. Yeah. If let's say, Chandra, you have to unmute. We can't hear you. Anyway, Murli, do you want to respond to that? Since you said that,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
asking you. Yeah.
Yeah, what happens is whether John's system or Chandra's system, it removes all the microorganisms, and to certain extent, the
No.
Chandra system removes the heavy metals.
My question
Right, but
is, if let's say his borewell water has hardness of 800, will his system work?
No, sir, it won't, because it doesn't remove the hardness at all.
Chandra and John, I'm sorry, both of you have to respond to that. If let's say I'm in Kolkata, I've drawn this borewell water, hardness of 750 or 850 count, does your system work?
Our system works to take out some of the hardness. And let me show you. I actually have a Calcutta slum water test. And let me see here. Let me go back into this.
While he does that, Chandra, can you respond while he does that? No, we can't hear you. You have muted yourself, and I don't know. You have to unmute yourself. I can't help you.
Yeah. Well, John pulls that up. I just want to acknowledge there are two excellent channels here to the market. Prakash Tata works with Rotary, and
Right.
also Rodney Harrington works with Engineers Without Borders, and he'll be speaking in
Right.
2 weeks here. And it would be interesting to hear their success because of their ability to reach all of these different groups, also with funding sources.
Sure. Good morning, Dr. Tata.
Morning, good morning. Interesting discussion. Good to see you, Mary, again within the week.
And congratulations to you for a
Oh,
very
thank-
distinguished conferment. Yes.
Thank you. And Mary is all over the place on the floor. I see that in that deck. So
Yeah.
my impression, I was talking about Rotary. I've been telling, because, we at Rotary give grants, so-called global grants. And I'm a life member of Washrag Water and Sanitation Rotary Action Group. And also recently joined that. They asked me to chair what is known as the SRAG, the North American region, Central North American region of SRAG, means Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. For a long time at Rotary also, I was telling, when I knew that people are getting these RO systems, even for municipal water, which is actually less than 500 TDS, maybe 300, something like that. They're putting this RO system to completely remove the minerals, thinking, I think it's marketing. I think Mary Eggert is a champion. She knows how to market things. I think she's one of the marketing in our team members. I mean, there is a place for RO, and certainly it is not the kind of a thing, that just go blindly and it's going to do a lot of things for the people in the communities. So I advocated that thing at Rotary in headquarters when I came to know that a lot of global grants were being approved in the sense, at least I know of one global grant that gentleman was bragging about it in Hyderabad. And I told him, do you know the damage that it might cause to in the long run? And also in some households in Vizag, where I visit annually, they were buying these systems. It is the marketing of the people. I mean, they are so skillful. In this country also, we can sell pet stones, like little stones around the Christmas time, $2.99, $3.99. We can sell chia pets, little things like a Obama had, or Nixon had, or even Biden had, or whatever heads, can put the compost in there, put some seeds in there, holes on the head, and then these sprouts, and then that you can sell $29.99, $19.99. I mean, my goodness, this is marketing. I wish I was in the marketing business to make tons of money instead of teaching environmental issues, to people. So this marketing, as people were saying here, education, awareness are the key things. Even homeowners, I'm just about typing in a chat session. Rotary, I'm going to tell them, RO, yes, if you have 1,000, 1,800, 2,000 ppm TDS, and again, you supplement it with minerals to supply it before that. You need some skilled persons to do this kind of stuff. And, homeowners associations, they should be trained, they should be educated. I mean, they don't have time to understand these things. They are only interested in making the money at the end of the day, how many units they have sold to the apartment dwellers and so forth. So it is a monumental task, education, awareness, and behavior change. How do we do that? This is by, just like the way the people who are selling our systems or other systems in the market, we have to be good marketers and telling them the advantages and disadvantages of the various systems.
Yeah, and I think John was going to share a view of the
sorry.
calculation.
I think that marketing is very important in how you tell the story. I'm a filmmaker and a marketing guy as well. And so I would love to, one of my skills I could partner with some of you on is, hey, if I come to India and you want a short film, I can partner with you and make something with you. That makes, we have the 4K cameras, we have all that stuff. So I could come and create a small marketing piece for you, Chandra, that's like, hey, here's the film for you that tells your story better and more compelling. And then we can talk about other things. Let me just show you, this is the India test that we used. It's out of Calcutta, and the company is called Advanced Research and Testing Laboratory. And when it deals with hardness and the contaminants that they specifically tested, you'll see that the turbidity is way below the normal expectancy here, what's created and what's
Sure.
there. The pH value was good. It's
Very good.
7.8.
Yeah.
Total dissolved solids were 169, way below the 500 mark. 90 alkalinity, iron, calcium, magnesium, sulfate, chloride, nitrate, hardness 84. So it does take out hard. It won't take it all out, but it will take out some of the hardness. And then here, of course, this was after 20 months. 20 months. It's still 0 E. coli, coliform, and coliform bacteria.
Chandra, your take on magnesium, 16.3 per liter? Chandra?
Sir, what was the parameters of the raw water before it was gone through the filter? That is important.
Okay.
Right.
Because if the raw water parameter was
Good point.
close to 170, 180, and it is
Good point.
160, it's not a good reduction. It's not a
Sure.
massive reduction.
Fair point. Yes, John?
Yeah, so that was slum water straight out of downtown Calcutta in that. And I think one of the things that when we had asked the testing partner is, please give us the first sample of water. So you have what it is to what it isn't. And they gave us that report and said, that's what it is. And so we still have asked them to go and get the source water so we can get that test. So we should be able to get that very soon. Just a straight source water, yes.
Rodney, do you have anything to chip in with?
Yeah, Rodney has an excellent distribution channel with Engineers Without Borders, but I'll let him share. They're highly recommended. They get the same touting that you got, Chandra, from Murali. So.
You're right. Rodney, yes, please.
So, yeah, we do a lot of our primary product, I guess, is chlorination technology. We're not so much into filters. We believe that you need to kill the bugs and not, you're not in a lot of low income settings. Turbidity reduction is not the issue, it's killing the bugs. You can eat the dirt, you don't eat the bugs. We work with NGOs, have been primarily because they, selling to the end user who's making $1, $2 a day is very difficult. And so we work with NGOs like PATH out of Seattle, Catholic Relief Services, World Vision, Operation Blessing International, organizations like that. And we have operating, all over the place. I mean, all over Africa, Haiti, and some in India, Japan, Korea, you name it, Central and South America. Any disaster organization, any disaster relief scenario like what Operation Blessing focuses on. So it just takes time to set all that up. You've got to have a product that that begin to have confidence in. It takes time to do that.
Yeah.
So it just takes time to get it set up. And so forums like this, I think, are good in the sense that they help manufacturers connect with distributors and with regulatory agencies, to try to introduce the right technology to the solution. So anyway, that's a few cents on it.
With all your years of doing what you have been doing, Rodney, what is your take on what Dr. Tata said on how, having a good thing is not enough, or believing is not enough. You have to be seen to be believing, or seen to have those things working as well as they do, is what Tata is saying, Dr. Tata is saying. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, again, you can have the best technologies, ever, but if you don't have the marketing and the distribution channel set up then it's not going to go anywhere.
Absolutely.
The best technologies, there are many examples of the best technology
Yeah.
getting penetration in the market space.
Yeah.
And so it is critical to get
Right. Yeah.
product marketed, and for companies that are startups and so forth, funding is always an issue. You know, a lot of startups are started by technical people, you know, who don't appreciate the marketing aspects of it. So you know, I think that marketing is a very important part of it. And you know, if you can combine the right marketing with the right technology, you really got something, you know. So
Well, I would also say, sorry, Mary, go on, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, Suhail just made the very wise comment that this is comparable to RO. Both of these systems are very competitive, but also comparable to the plastic bottles and the emergency situations. And John just had a really good experience addressing recovery from Hurricane Ida. And maybe you could just talk about what you learned on that, John, in terms of getting into the market at something that's more environmentally friendly, but also much more cost competitive. And to your point on finding that market, Hari.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I think one of the things, when we went down to Hurricane Ida, we went down there with buckets and filters. And what we discovered is, as we were driving into the disaster relief, there were plastic bottles everywhere. And as we were leaving, even more. And so the thing that's difficult about the plastic bottle is that, yes, it's a quick solution, but it creates another problem. And you don't want to create a solution that creates more problems along the way in that. And we ended up talking to a lot of the disaster relief organizations saying, if we would have had your filter before the hurricane, we would have no plastic bottles. And we wouldn't be shipping, you know, millions, 50 million bottles down to a city that they can't get rid of. Now you've just polluted the whole city. And you've created so much extra work, and it does. And so, you know, just for $35, they could have had water for as long as they needed, or Chandra, your piece, as long as they needed, you know, and you get there a week before the hurricane. We know when the hurricane's going to come, and we know where it's going to hit. And so disaster relief is a very, very good market for us as we're learning how to penetrate that market more and more. In fact, I'm having a disaster relief consultant come to our company next Friday, and he's spending all day teaching us how to get into that disaster relief situation with them and stuff. And so when we work with Convoy of Hope, Operation Blessing, you know, MAP International, those are disaster relief organizations that are like, your solution works immediately off the bat and takes care of the situation along the way. So we learned a lot being down there, recognizing that our solution is a more cost-effective way. When you're shipping tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of water every day, the gas cost, the truck cost, the manual labor cost, all of that is really put in there. If you just give a family a filter and 2 buckets, they have water the whole time, you know, and they don't.
Yeah, sure, John. You know, I'm really happy that we are not more than a dozen people plus who were at this meeting. Everyone's taken it seriously. Clearly, there is a take here. We must get the 2 of you to meet, you and Chandra. I mean, it's not necessary that you physically meet. You might come in summer, that's okay. But the thing is to see that you do that, but then what are you going to accomplish if you met? And that takes us to the 2 market segments that we talked about. One, that you will take on the you know, the shall we say, the decathlon kind of target groups of people, very urban, and we'll see how we can move that there. The second is what Chandra is doing at households. His is a bulkier system. His is not a system that can be carried like yours, right? So there are 2 different segments. The third thing that comes to my mind is that we need to, Mary, you and I have to see that, like we have done for the other Tech Talk groups, we need to see that we form this one, what's it called, a round table or whatever. And I know, maybe you want to call it the focus group. And, you know, try and see how we take on what Dr. Tata talked about. We all know. We need to see how we make we like this guy is writing, Suhail is left, but he's written here saying, you got a bloody good USB. Sorry. You have something that sells at 1/5 the cost of a regular RO filter. What you need to do is the two of you get together and take this other market on in terms of your water post and pre, or pre and post, and the cost. With these two things, if we are able to blitz the market, which means cost, which means investment, we need to work out and see what paybacks are. How is it going to sit on some business plan? How are you going to scale in terms of production that you will need, and so on and so forth. All of which can be done. It's not a big issue. The last point, therefore, I'll make before I hand this over to Mary or whoever wants to talk is this. We can go on and on in, speaking the development language. It doesn't help us. We need to speak the big boys, a kind of lingo in a way that we take the market on if your product is, shall we say, compatible, competitive, and so on. Chandra is nodding, so I surely believe that he's willing to look at something like this, scale it a little bit, see how you can put a plan together for, say, 3 years and work this out. And I'm sure that if both of you are willing in your own different ways, because you have two different companies, if you say, I am an entrepreneur, like Chandra said, my bottom line is how many more hundreds of thousands of people I can reach, if not millions. If that is where we are coming from, let's find one investor. I will find an investor who is willing to say, I will put in this much as money, but the IRR has to be good for him. And then you guys do what you have to do to grow the business. Because no one wants to get into running of the business. These investors want to only put in money. And if the scale is sort of making sense to those guys, it might work. And before John comes here, Chandra, he's got another 6 months to do that. I will try and see if I can, line up 1 or 2 guys for you. I don't know where the market is going to come from. You'll have to figure that out. I can at least, enable a chat with you guys. There's another fellow in Chennai, in your city, who I had invited last week, and we met at a hotel here. And, for some other product. I'm saying I'll see if I can get something like that to your table. Over to you, Mary. Though we are not in the space of, brokerage and market enablement and such things. We are coming again, like you all do in some sense, from this, from this larger objective of getting clean access to water for people. Mary.
Yeah, I think you guys were very kind in talking about our marketing expertise. I have with me Frank, my colleague, who actually developed the largest distributor and marketing operation for computers in a few decades back, and that took off. But what we'd like to do is bring in some of those additional sources, like the churches, like this marketing agency, like, the idea of Hands Across America. Over the next 2 discussions we'll have Rodney back, and then we'll have the team from Water Rome sharing the process, and we have some guides we'll put in the community to help scale efforts in this education that we need. But I'd like to have Frank have my final word. So Frank, you've been listening quietly.
Certainly this is the power of the advertising of Global Waterworks, is the collaboration and bringing people together like this, and taking all of your time here of this dozen people that have been on this call for most of the time, which in total you've given here about 18 total man hours to this topic, which is a very, very important topic. Thanks to John, thanks to Rodney, thanks to Rick Bacon, who is here and also representing other technology. Thanks to everybody that's here, and knowing Hari and knowing Sam and everybody from that aspect involvement, this will not die. This will move forward with intense, smart speed. And we look forward, Mary and I both look forward to that and working with you. And this is a mission. Let's keep it moving very quickly and smartly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to say a few words. Some myth busters probably. The filter along with the candle, everything weighs only 3 kilos. So we have a carry bag like thing which you can carry and take it. But why we made this bucket model is very important. Why the design is not flashy, you are sexy, you said something. It is not sexy because we can stack one bucket inside the other when it goes in bulk to some place. And the lid and rings are stacked together. So in a truck where the normal standalone filters like Unilever or Tata Swatch goes say 250 numbers in a truck, my 2500 filters can go in a truck. They remove each bucket out. Where the 3 holes are there on the bottom, they know how to fit the candle. Where the hole is in the side, they know how to fit the tap. As simple as that. So we want to remediate and reach out to the last mile in the least possible manner when transportation cost matters, and that's why, and all the packing. So what we have done, we have the biodegradable bag in which they put the filter and give it to the people who are affected by flood and something. Even if the bag is thrown out, it is biodigestible. So we have taken enough care, and all the languages in every state, we have at least 17 or 18 languages, the instructions. That is one thing. Second thing about the TDS part. Up to 2000 TDS, ISO standard as per IS 10500, it allows, if the source is not available, it says up to 2000 is permissible. So 2000, very much we can use these type of systems. Beyond 2000, if there is something very drastic, like a seafarer area or a seashore, there only RO can come into picture. Again, there are again methods of desalination using evaporation and other methods. Strictly RO can be banned the way Supreme Court has already banned it. But we are not taking it to the grassroots level and taking it to the policy level. Supreme Court, I don't know why they are not implementing it very strictly. So, and another big problem, sir, there is this Biosan filter, which is marketed very well, which easily weighs around 12 kilos. And only those companies give you some sachet. I know what the sachet, the chemical inside is. They say only you have to buy from me, Bayer or some company, and that is another rider. And that only gives you 3 liters per 3 hours or 4 hours.
There you go. You have all the reasons. Yeah.
And that is marketed well. So when I had a 1:1 chat with that Biosan filter people, they say pan in world across one location, they have given hardly 30,000 filters. Whereas in a country like India, we have done 10x or maybe 1 million people we have reached already within 5 years. That shows which filter is more standable and which filter can be easily acceptable by the common man. Second thing, reusable and replaceable. Do it yourself should be the mantra. No AMC, no going and eating his head again and taking money from the common man is a sin. I would say it is a sin. We should make it do it yourself. I think John would veto that idea also. And I am ready to collaborate as a plastic engineer. The membrane is available. The perforated cartridge issues is available. And for information, the Belgavi guy who did it in the small,
yes,
that can only create up to 200 liters.
Okay.
Then you have to spend another 500 liters, which is an impediment, and he could not scale up. In fact, I extended my help to even help him out because membranes are similar to what John is using. It has a smaller version, that's all.
I see.
Okay. He was not ready to take it as a collaboration. The synergy was not there. He thought me as a competitor. So I don't, that's why I went out.
Oh, okay. Sad.
So, see, people have to understand we are fighting a big giant. It's a Goliath and David stories. We need lots to come together to fight the Goliath of water menace.
Absolutely.
That statement is good and the people understand it in the right way. I think each one of you can contribute, and luckily I had Frank and Mary giving me very essential inputs and very fine-tuned inputs of how to understand others' platform and make it more larger.
Sure. Yeah, they will help you. I'm sure she will. Great. So, Mary, your turn, or is it Usha Kinney's turn to sort of close it with the next 2 minutes? We are already past 90 minutes. But I would say that this is big, even if you're smaller numbers, it's going to help. Over to you, Usha.
Yeah, just 30 seconds. I don't even need 2 minutes because I think I see, how do we make it a win-win situation for all stakeholders? That's what this Tech Talk series is trying to address at an intense, smart speed. I understand now why we are here and why Tech Talks are happening. So let's carry it forward and make sure that the focus groups, get us where we should be going. Thank you.
Very good.
That's it. We sign off there. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank, Rodney, everyone. Rick is also left just now. Okay. Neil, thank you for being here. Neil Matthew, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Join us in 2 weeks. for
Yes.
more on Rodney and all of your
Tomorrow,
input.
Neil Matthews, tomorrow is another lovely show at 6 p.m. Both Usha and Mary are speaking. Then you heard yesterday the CEO of the ICCW, Nandakumar, he's also speaking tomorrow. 3 good, lovely speakers tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I'll send you the link at the Green Leader Group.
Yeah. That
Thanks.
would be wonderful.
Right.
Great.
Thanks a lot of
Thank
you.
you all.
Thanks
Thank
all.
you, Dr. Hari.
Thank you, Frank, once again. Thanks, Young, for all your time
Thank you.
and wonderful
Thank you
work.
so much.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.